top of the morning to you. Welcome to the program this morning on ITV. I am Anuluwakbo Stephen. So many things to talk about today on the show. Here in Edo State, Nigeria, I have my colleagues with me, the ace broadcaster, Sunny Duke Okosu. Good morning. Really? Okay. That's like the Love it. Good morning and welcome on board. Since you had a fantastic weekend with the way you danced, something came up.
Well, not exactly. I mean, the fact that it's a brand new day, and we have the privilege to see another brand new day. Many slept last night. Today, we are no more. Some are in the hospital. Just different strokes for different folks. And we have every reason to be happy and be grateful to God. I mean, it's a brand new week. And there's so much to look forward to on the show today. I'm particularly looking forward to our conversation on the fake life on social media.
Okay, hold on. Just before we get to that, I also have Amarachi Azuka here. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
I think I should dance. I think I should dance. I'm so excited to be here. It's such an honor. Thank you so much for having me on this morning on ITV.
So how was your weekend as well?
It was fantastic. It was amazing. I had a restful weekend. How was yours?
It was great. Thanks for asking.
Okay.
Now, of course, Sunny Duke Okosu has already launched our conversation for today, so we might as well, get into it. Hopefully, we have Lagos and Abuja studio join us as we move along. So something beautiful. I mean, the weekend was really fantastic on the street of social media. Hopefully, on TMI Social will do justice to it. But let's just open the conversation. The amazing, controversial personality, social media personality, the professor of the University of Gege School, right there in Delta State, Nigeria, tied the knots secretly over the weekend in Niger, right there in Nigeria. And it sparks a lot of conversation online, especially because this particular person, if you know Gege, his real name Prosper, has been championing men from not spending on their women, from not buying wigs, and we hear that he bought wigs. There was even a video, Sunny Duke, where he was losing the hair of his wife, and it got a lot of people talking. And the conversation is currently on as regards, should you believe what you see on social media or not?
Well, that's why I put my hand like this to hear you before I comment on that.
Yeah.
As broadcasters, media practitioners, I mean, we've always admonished that people should take a cursory look at whatever they see or hear on social media before they take action. They should actually verify some of those things and the practicality of that. It's not the first time we're seeing people like this. I remember Blessing CEO, who is now calling in police custody, came up with some of these theories about how women should behave, how women shouldn't behave, and all of that, how men are this, men are that. Eventually, he was able to snatch one dude that he was flaunting on social media. And then this guy, Gege, has been an advocate for men, saying they shouldn't do this for women, they shouldn't do that for. I mean, nobody saw it coming. Who would have expected that Gege would get married to a lady so soon? So all of those things he was saying on his streaming platform, Gege University, it's just a hoax, because that's exactly what is playing out now. The fact that he even did get married secretly,
imagine that.
That's insult to injury.
Really?
And I know that some female activists, they are coming for
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you want to earn on this?
Yeah, when I saw the video of his wedding, I felt like it was a lie. I'm like, no, it's not Gege, it's AI. Because with all the things we've heard him say about marriage and all that, one would think that he would be the last person to actually get married. And there was a video of him saying that if he ever gets married, they should just know that the girl used maybe charms on him. They should take him to a select church and flog him to bring out that thing out of his body. And now he's married, and all his fans are like, what's happening? How come you deceived us? And he came up to say that he did not deceive anybody. He didn't tell anybody not to get married. He only said that if he gets married, they should do something about it. And everybody just sparking conversations online about it. it. But this just boils down to the fact that social media is not all real. Whatever you see on social media, you need to verify before you take advice. There are so many advisors on social media, so many influencers, so many content creators, people that just want views and money, you know, from social media. And we, the viewers that are watching, we should be careful when we see those influencers, be careful on how we take their advice, because a lot of men now are they're like, oh, this guy deceived us and all that. He did not deceive you. You were the one that actually took his advice so seriously. So it's it's really funny and appalling.
He deceived men or guys. He deceived them with his philosophy, with his ideology.
Well, those are the guys that want to be deceived, not everybody.
Because you see, why when you see somebody is an influencer, what does it mean?
Influence people.
You influence people's decisions.
Yeah.
You influence their action. They look at your lifestyle, they look at what you say, and they want to model it after you. Because there are a lot of people out there that are rudderless. They want direction, they want advice, they want all of these things. And then you come on air and you say this and that, and you go behind and do the direct opposite. We have to do some integrity check on you. And I think it boils down to what I just said a while ago, that be careful of what you take from social media. Be careful of what you hear, believe. It's like, you know, a young lady fantasizing about marriage, and then he watches home video a lot, and then he's trying to model his marital life after what she sees on social media or online, or on even some of these movies and all of that. You know that there are two different things.
Absolutely. Well, we need to, I hear the PD say we need to bring Lagos and Abuja on board at this point. But it's also safe to say that marriage is a beautiful thing at the end of the day, especially when you're doing it with the right person. Lagos, good morning. Abuja, how are you? Welcome to the program. The show is on already. Let me start with you, Patricia, ladies first. You want to weigh in on the conversation and also how Lagos is doing today.
Good morning, I know Lagos is cool and fine. I mean, over the weekend, Gege actually confused everybody. But I'm going to start by saying, who are those men that actually took his advice? I'm wondering, I mean, like Sonny Duke said, influencer can influence you, but you want to take a proper look at the person that is influencing you. Are you better than the person? Because a whole lot of comments on the social media was like, Gege deceived us. A lot of people said they left their girlfriends because of Gege. Some said, oh, they decided never to get married because of Gege. And I sat down to begin to wonder, Gege, I mean, I do not understand. But anyway, he deceived a lot of people and he got married secretly. It just boiled down to say that social media is a place where these young folks have decided to go and, you know, just say anything to make quick money and, you know, become very popular in the social media world. So I don't know, those that took Gege's advice, I am so sorry he disappointed you. Because he also said if married, they should flog him, just like Amarachi said. They should take him to Celeste Church and flog him. I hope they are all planning right now to take Gege to Celeste Church and flog him so that he can come back to his senses to what he advised people.
Well, still reacting to it yesterday, Gege actually did say, show me a video where I told you not to get married. Show me a video where I said you shouldn't spend on your woman. And we're going to play that video on TMI socials this morning. I don't know if Joseph Kadiri, Joseph, are you one of those men who've stopped spending on your woman because of Gege? Please go ahead.
A very good morning, dear colleagues. Good morning, Nigerians. Of course, it is your favorite program. For us here in Abuja, it is cool and calm, weather is friendly, but on the subject matter, I feel personally Gege's life should not dominate national discourse on a Monday morning. We've got so much to talk about, socio-political issues that definitely will shape our life. He is living his life, and it's just a lesson for everyone, you know. Do what you have to do. You don't have to stamp your fate on your political life, marital life, social life on the back of someone, because they may change. We have seen many people who say this is the way to go. At the end of the day, they change. What happens? You are left in the dungeon. So on the discourse for Abuja today, the INEC closure of CVR is our focus, because, you know, after that, there are about 5-6 activities that will come before the elections.
Thank you so much, Joseph. But it's also quite interesting and notable to note that traditional media currently has switched. There are so many new innovation, and it's also good to see over time we get to see what happens in the mainstream media being always picked from what goes on the digital space, the new media, and social media in particular. Thank you so much for your concern. Yes.
To that conversation, I think our colleague Kadri needs to upgrade himself a little bit and have a proper understanding how the media works. Like you rightly mentioned, there is a shift from traditional to digital. The advantage that we have is that we're able to do what you call media convergence, which is a fusion of the traditional media and, of course, digital media for the benefit of our audience. If you say what Gege has done is not worthy of being talked about on the national television, it only shows where you are in terms of the media sphere, and that's quite very disappointing for me, because what we are establishing here is the fakeness that we see on social media, which people believe most times, and you can extrapolate that even to the political space, where something happens and then that thing that happens is trending on social media. In most cases, people are judged on social media. It could be a political issue and all of that. Eventually, when the facts starts emerging, you'll be amazed how everything turns around. I'll give you a typical example. Someone like Very Dark Man was following the story of the Presidential Foreign Investment Promotion Committee. He had a conversation with the prime suspect, Adeyemi, and he wanted to take up that issue because he felt that Adeyemi was being unjustly treated. But after, you know, getting all the information that he got, that informed his decision, and then having a conversation directly with the guy, it's discovered that there was some element of lies in it. So that changed his perception. Now, today, if you're a politician, you don't have a strong digital media presence, you're certainly going to be missing out on some of the, you know, advantages that that space provides. Yeah, Gege may be a subject, but it's beyond him, because we are looking at the major issue of deception that you have on social media. Today, we're talking about AI, artificial intelligence. We're talking about deep fake in the digital media space. That's because people can actually take your voice, take your picture, take your video, and create something that wasn't you talking or having an engagement on a particular issue. At the end of the day, those who will see it will believe it's you. So when you have such a very robust conversation and somebody, because he doesn't understand it, wants to dismiss it, that's quite disappointing. That's why I say he needs to really upgrade himself, you know in that conversation.
Well, it's an ongoing conversation. Now let's move over to Lagos, Nigeria. Patricia, what are we getting from your end this morning?
Hi, Anu. We're going to be talking and looking at the voters' registration. You know, INEC had just ended the exercise, and then the opposition demands extension. I mean, not just the opposition, I think Nigerians are also asking for extension. So we're going to be taking a look at that, and we're going to be having Dr. Martin Morgan. He is an international public and development analyst. He's going to help us understand all of this, if actually the extension is needed.
Looking forward to all of that and more this morning on the show. Now back here in Edilse, Nigeria, away from Gege conversation, which is controversial, away from INEC, the registration, the PVC that ended yesterday, we turn our attention over to something that happened over the weekend where we had President Bola Tinubu and Abike Dabiri Arewa with other notable Nigerians in the diaspora hold a meeting where the president did say that they should come back home to Nigeria, especially healthcare workers. Come back to Nigeria. Nigeria is a better place. Let's make it great for every one of us. And this is sparks conversation online and offline, and we'll talk about it some more this morning. I did hear some persons say, what am I coming back to? How much are you paying medical operators right here in Nigeria? That's a conversation that we must have. But we really need to take a short break. And when we return, we move over to the front pages of the newspaper. Please stay with us.
Onwa is rich in culture and traditions. The people are a mixture of traditional worshippers, Muslims and Christians. Onwa is located at the northern part of Edo State. It consists of two local government areas, that is Onwa West and Onwa East. It has a total number of 13 clans and 21 political wards, according to National Population Commission 2006 census. The population of Onwa people is put together at 251,686. The people love tradition and culture. Historically, the people ancestors in deep quest to hand down on their future children a society of love and friendship.
ITV, certainly the best.
In a rare display of botanical brilliance, the palm tree defied natural norms, sprouting multiple branches that bear fruits. This rare occurrence has become a wonder to many, as experts are calling it a one-in-a-million phenomenon. Could this multiple-headed marvel hold secret to agricultural breakthroughs, or is it simply a freak accident of nature? An agronomist with Nigeria Institute for Oil Palm Research, NIFOR Benin. The strange palm tree also raises issues of a blend of science with human interest and cultural significance for maximum impact.
Welcome back. If you're just joining, you're on to This Morning on ITV. Now let's take a look at national dailies this morning. We'll start off with the Nigerian Tribune, where the major headline says, North should trust me with presidency. Who was speaking? Peter Obi. He also did says only inclusive leadership can truly heal Nigeria. Details on this on page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. Away from that, power sector, Nigeria needs $228 billion in electricity investment between 2026 to 2024. Who was speaking? The presidency on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. You get details of that on page 5. Nigeria well positioned for inclusive growth if reforms continue. IMF has that to say on page 6. Kano, Lagos, Edo top as INEC concludes final phase of continuous voter registration on page 23 of the Nigerian Tribune. Other interesting headlines this morning. Tinubu may meet more Oyo APC stakeholders as power tussle intensifies in Kwara, Benue. Subwriter says Sharafa Ferdin Ali widens scope of peace moves. Kwara stakeholders await Abuja's final verdict on Guber candidate. And so I think that's all we would have on the Nigerian Tribune this morning. But let me just quickly introduce our guest reviewer on the program today. Good morning, Dr. Dan Ekarafa. He is the HOD of Mass Communication, Uniben, Edo State, Nigeria. Good morning. You look great. I love the bead you're putting on.
No, you just got to take it
from what community? Okay. Well, I'll allow you to react to the major headline where Peter Obi was saying something about the North giving him the presidency. Now, yesterday he had an interview on a sister station and he said a lot of things there. Dr. Dan.
Yes, why is Obi asking the North to trust him with power? Over the years, there is this silent animosity between the North and the East. And these stories are usually peddled by the political class to create this animosity between people from the Southeast and the North. If you follow developments in Nigeria over the years, especially when you have cases of violence, inter-ethnic clashes, people from the Southeast often feel attacked, especially those who have business in the North. So because of the outcome of the Civil War and the narrative that were out there over the years, that the first coup was planned by the Igbos in the military, it has strained the relationship between the North and the East. Although the 1979 election, Buhari first coming to contest for the presidency, deliberate efforts were made to pick somebody from the Southeast as vice president. But in spite of this effort, there's this ground-seated animosity between some political class in the North and individuals from the Southeast. So when Obi says, trust me with power, the reason why he's saying that is that I will provide leadership. If you have a good leader in this country, what you are going to get is that you have a nation that is inclusive. So if over the years there is a deliberate relegation of people from the Southeast in terms of access to power, you recall that over the years, it was during Yar'Adua's tenure that we had the first Southeasterner as police chief, a person of Michael Kiro. Thereafter, you had the chief of army staff from the Southeast, later one chief of air staff. It is in the recent past we started having people from the Southeast occupy key positions in government. So when Obi says, give me the opportunity, it is because of this deep-seated animosity that has created such narrative. However, Nigeria should ask themselves this question. We have been doing North, Southwest, South, and the outcome has not been very palatable. Why don't we give somebody from the Southeast an opportunity for leadership, whether he will transform this nation or not? We continue with the same old narratives, and things are not changing to the best of life for Nigerians. If you look at an average Igbo man, he or she is industrious. He pursues his trade with every seriousness. So, if you give somebody such leadership, let's try him and see if he will change the narrative of this nation. If you have been to the north, there is high level of poverty in the north. And they've had leaders from that part of the country over the years, and nothing has changed. It means those who have occupied leadership position, either they don't understand the basics of development, or they are foot soldiers who drive the development process and not providing the right report to them. Beyond at the presidential level, let's look at the governors from the north. What type of impact? Yes, in terms of roads, you will see roads, you will see healthcare not that very strong, economic activity is very low. These are the fundamentals. So for individuals who can transform the course of the north, it will be is having the right qualities to drive this process. Why are the political class afraid of letting him have access to power? So all the gang up, all the narrative, oh, Obi will do this, Obi will do that, is out of fear. You know, those who maintain the political hold in terms of hegemony in this country will not want people who will break the hegemony and make power or life better for ordinary Nigerians. So the only way they can continue their hold into power is to keep spreading that narrative that Obi cannot be trusted. So when Obi asks northern people to say, trust me with power, I'll make a difference, it is because of these long years of animosity. So it's left for us Nigerians to decide what we want for ourselves as a people, whether we want a nation that is good for all of us or continue with this same trajectory. That is my take on that headline.
All right, okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Dan.
Go to Guardian, and next for the call, what do we have?
The Guardian newspaper, well, it's leading with the major headline that says overlapping budgets. How weak? I don't know if we could have that on the screen. Let's have the Guardian newspaper on right now. But it's talking about, it's talking about the economy, how weak budgeting, culture, AIDS, graft, poverty, ghost allocations. And there is a diagram there explaining it even further. And I also see a voter registration closes amid concerns over access, election, credibility. Dr. Dan, please.
Yes. This year is like we're having about 3 budgets running simultaneously this year. The 2024 budget, the capital component was not completed when the 2025 came, and the same thing has happened in 2026. I don't know, those guys in the National Assembly, whether there's nobody amongst them that read economics. A budget is supposed to run within a cycle. One, why do you allow the president to present budget December of the outgoing year if you want serious deliberation on the budget? 2, budgets are proposed for a specific period of time. In our country here, they will tell you, oh, the 2024 component should expire in January 2027. Or the 2025 component should expire March 2027. You create confusion all over the place. You recall some weeks back, the minister was trying to offer a defense when the World Bank raised allegation that even the money the government borrowed, the government was stealing the money and all that. And the Minister of Defense said the reason why we have that controversy was because some budget of the past were still running in the current year. That was the reason he provided. It is time for us to really question this in the National Assembly. Why would you insist that budget cycle should run their full course? What is stopping the Senate President or the Speaker of the House of Representatives from saying, Mr. President, budget should get to us September of the outgoing year, so that within this September and December we can deliberate on this budget? You recall that this year's budget deliberations were made on it until March this year. So if a budget for this current year, you are still deliberating on it in March, the implication is that you want the old budget to continue to run until this. So when you create this type of weak system, you create avenue for corruption. People will impose figures into the current budget when the outgoing budget is already being run. You had cases where certain projects are repeated again and again because they will tell you such budgets were not funded. What is the result? We keep doing the same thing. The outcome is very poor. The National Assembly should be held responsible for this. If the National Assembly will not insist that budgets should be submitted at specific period, this story will not change. We continue with the same trajectory. Nothing is going to change. The other issue I will speak to is the issue of INEC registration that ended yesterday. And funny enough, Edo State came third in the number of registered voters. It means the level of political education is very high. People are beginning to be conscious of the system, and I look forward to those who register collecting their PVCs, and on election day they come out to vote, because some of this registration is a product of the political class saying, please, you need to register so that our area can have a say. When we are negotiating with government, we say we have a large number of registered voters. That should change by people coming out on election day to vote. In all the elections we've had, we've never had up to 40% of voters turn out. And it's not good for our system. If we want a system that is good, where people decide who rules them, those who register for election cycles should come out and vote during elections.
Fantastic. I just reflect on the issue of weak budget, which you talked about. How do you see that as a challenge if you look at the issue of what has happened with the fake Presidential Foreign Investment Promotion Committee?
The report of that is that while you present this paper for this year's budget, invariably the focus was on the outgoing year where monies were allocated. People can bring in fake allocations into the same process, because from the stories you have been hearing from the National Assembly, people secretly imputing projects, programs into a budget that has been passed. Allegations now start flying. No, that was not what was passed. Oh, it was what was passed. That is why you created that. So for the fake Presidential Committee on Foreign Investment, that happened because the legislators themselves did not do due diligence. As from what you are seeing from the committee set up to investigate the matter, it is obviously clear that the man was indeed given the responsibility of doing that job. All the stories they presented, the arrests and all the rest, were all a face-saving measure. Like I said in one of our programs here, what they would have done is to own up. If you keep saying you are not aware when the facts are already before the public, you lose credibility. In public relations, trust, credibility, they are the currency you use in drawing public followership and you use in building reputation. But if you lose these two currency, I don't know what else you have to get from the people.
Look at what we have on the New Telegraph as our next port of call. Okay, we work with the Daily Independent newspaper, and it says high rates, government borrowing threaten private credit recovery, and then CBN boosts cyber defenses with new security operations center. All right. I have more stories on Daily Independent. We'll just quickly get Dr. Dan's reaction to the two stories we highlighted.
What is the essence of borrowing to fund projects? I sometimes ask myself, is it that we don't think at all? One of the things I will make reference to is the Abuja-Benin highway. That road has been on since 2009, if I'm not mistaken. Every government that comes in, say, we'll complete that road. So the question is, what does it take to complete that road? How many billions do you need to complete the road? Government tells you, oh, we borrow so billions to fund projects. where are the projects? What is the level of execution? If you meet the contractor, he said we are stopped because we are not being funded. Those who have learned their lessons, you don't borrow money again from the bank, because if you borrow money from the bank to fund a project, getting it will become a peculiar tax. At the end of the day, the bank will end up taking your asset in place of that. So government borrows in the name of funding projects, but these projects are done piecemeal. And at the end of the day, the essence of the borrowing is lost. I would have thought that if you borrow money to execute a project, you put the money into it so that within a short period, you can get the value for it. Take the case of the Benin-Asaba Highway. Within Benin here, you don't know what the contractor is doing, whether the man is confused. You have not been to the Agbo end of the road. You'll be asking yourself, is it that these people don't understand simple engineering? They started before the rains, and they were saying, within April, they would have completed. Go to Agbo Road. They don't know what they are doing. And if you travel that stretch towards Agbo, they scrape the best part of the road, and the quality of what they are doing is rubbish. So you say money that was borrowed to execute us is such a project, will get value for it. The second dimension of the headlines about CBN improving cyber security. You recall that last year or so, the government told us that what was lost to fraudulent activities by men of the other world was over 200 billion. So that tells you a lot. A man who has worked all his life, invested in something, put his money in the bank or some investment company, all of a sudden the money is lost to fraudulent activities. So if the CBN is saying they are building a new security center, I think it's a step in the right direction. It will increase the confidence of the people in financial systems. That usual fear that, oh, my money can be lost, people can fall prey to fraudsters, I think it may go a long way in reducing cases of that.
Right, away from the New Telegraph newspaper, let's...
Daily Independent.
Right, the Daily Independent newspaper. Let's turn our attention now to the New Telegraph newspaper, if we can. The major headline says, 2027 DG, Yari Al-Makura Oshomole Uzodinma top contenders as APC compiles PCC list. And there's also subwriters there on page 3 and 7 of the New Telegraph newspaper. You see details of that story. Away from that, U.S. lawmaker asks federal government to release Nnamdi Kanu or face 8 cuts. Will that happen? You never know. On page 2 and 27, you get details of that story. I think that all this would allow me to take on New Telegraph. Dr. Dan, you want to react to this?
Yes.
And also, I'd love you to respond to the drama that's been playing out between Senate President and Oshomole. What really is going on?
That's obvious, and it's going to continue.
Feels like there's something underneath that we don't know.
Well, the reality is that the fight for who becomes the Senate President next election is what is driving that drama. An ambassadorial nominee was presented before the Senate, and Oshomole raised a point of observation that this candidate, there are court cases against him over sexual harassment, whether it will be fair to appoint such an individual. And the Senate President, rather than address the issue, brought in Oshomole's own private emotional affairs into the picture.
Oh my goodness.
When I watched that video, I started laughing. I said, these guys are not serious. Anyway, the whole drama is about 2027 Senate presidency. And I know the game will continue, just like Dr. Sonny Duke said, until the elections are over. As for who becomes the DG of the campaigns, you need a man who can talk. You need a man who can move the crowd to act as the DG of a presidential campaign. If you bring in individuals who like the oratory power to persuade the people, you may not do much. So for me, I think the race is basically between Oshomole and Hope Uzodinma as who become the DG of the 2027 presidential campaign.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's what you have on the papers review.
Right.
Our first guest on the program is already on standby. Dr. Dan is with us here. We'll be joining in that conversation as we look at the core issues on the Japa syndrome amidst the appeal or the calls by the president for Nigerians in diaspora to return home. To what? That's the question. We'll stay with us on the show. We'll be back with you in a moment.
Ugewe is the final ceremony of the series of festivals. It is one of peace and lightheartedness, following the more solemn of the ritual year. Ugewe is the festival of the Ewe leaves, a symbol of good luck and joy. It is the most popular of all that heralds the dawn of a Benin New Year, new vow, newness of life and freshness of life, and a new hope for the future. In the evening, the Ewe leaves are presented to the Oba of Benin in grand style in a colorful ceremony. The Ihogbe Society, amidst singing and dancing, bring the sacred leaves that symbolize good luck, blessings, peace, and prosperity. Each of the senior members of the Ihogbe proceeds to give the sacred leaves directly to the Oba of Benin, and others put theirs at his feet.
Many thanks again for rejoining us on the program TMI on the ITV network. We begin the conversation on the program from our Benin network studio, where we'll be looking at the core issues surrounding the Jagba syndrome, which of course is taking its toll on Nigeria. Joining us virtually from the UK, we have an educational and immigration consultant talking about Eric Chiosa EOA. Eric, thank you for joining us on the conversation this beautiful Monday morning from this side of the world.
Thank you so much, and it's a privilege having me on this program.
Fantastic. Dr. Dan Iharafo, HOD Mass Communication Department, University of Benin, is still with us in the studio. Dr. Dan, thank you so much for your patience and your time with us on the show today.
Thank you very much.
Okay, let me go straight to Eric. Give me your background on this issue of Jagba. The average, I mean, I was in a vehicle some time ago. I had some of my young friends in the car. We're just talking and vibing. I wanted to just sample their views. If you have the opportunity to go abroad, would you take the opportunity? I was surprised. I mean, it was 100% response in terms of affirmation of going abroad to seek for greener pastures. And today, the president is appealing to the medical professionals to return home. And we also saw a comment by one of the special advisors to the president, Buhari, saying that, Nigerians living abroad, they are poorer than those living at home. I mean, social media went wild with a lot of criticisms of that comment and the reaction. So give me your background on this challenge, this social menace that has been on for such a long time.
Thank you so much. My own opinion, apparently, people living in the country, what we popularly refer to as Jagba syndrome. It's not just like simply what we say. It's bit is just a reflection of a dysfunctional society. A dysfunctional society in the sense that if we look at it from structural functionalism, the structural functionalism, we see the Nigeria as a country, as a system, which everything is supposed to be functional. The government, the economy, the health sector, every sector, religion and stuff like that. You see that things are not really working in Nigeria, and things are, people are actually looking for a greener pasture in terms of moving abroad. If we look at the population of people who has left the country since 2022 to date, it is really alarming, simply because the system has failed the people, because you see people are leaving the country not just because they want a better salary. They are leaving the country simply because there is security challenges, because you have a lot of people who can no longer work freely. And looking at the fact that, you know, a lot of security challenges going on here and there, killing people and all stuff like that. Like somebody said to me, he said, living abroad is just like few minutes to heaven, and living in Nigeria is just like few minutes to hell, and which is apparently the fact. Because today you see a lot of working conditions which are not proper for staffs. You see infrastructural decay, inequality. You see struggle for power and stuff like that. You know, poor governance. In terms of the law is really in shambles. You know, a lot of things going on in Nigeria, and people do not want to live in such environment. And living abroad, to be honest with you, is just like a perfect way of living life. Because if you live abroad, obviously your children, they're going to be benefiting from the free education from the nursery to the college and stuff like that, which is mandatory for people. And, you know, I can't even remember the last time I fasted and prayed when I was traveling, or probably binding blood sucking demons on the highway, which is not. But in Nigeria, before you travel from Benin to Abuja, you need to start fasting and praying, binding the blood sucking demons on the highway, you know, which are structural issues, which are systemic issues that Nigeria should be able to address. But I think these are some of the drives, you know, that actually lead people to, you know, seeking greener pastures, you know, abroad. So that's just my opinion on that.
Okay, I'll come back to you in a bit. Dr. Dan, let's talk about the flip side of this conversation. You are an academician, and a good one at that. Looking at some of the issues in the global media space, we've talked about the issue of the Western world creating pathways for the best of the best in developing countries to move away. So is this a ploy to strangulate development in developing nations like Nigeria and the rest of the other developing nations across the world?
If you look at the policies of the US, Canada, they specify the type of talents they want for their migration exercise. And so if your best of artisans, your best of medical doctors, engineers are moving to those parts of the world, what is the result? You're going to have people back home who don't have, let me not say they don't have capacity, but your very best are leaving you. Look at what is happening out there. They will say Nigeria developed the first robotics, drones. The man who was in College of Education here. So the implication is that they are happy to advance the developed nations while our own country will continue to go backward. The first time I came to Benin, you interviewed a young man who developed a power bicycle. I don't know whether your memory can still remember. Years ago.
Don't even know where the guy is now.
I don't know where that guy is. You would have thought that for a small boy of his age, government will set up a special lab for him to
and fund it.
Yes, we will not have a patent and keep creating things of that nature. If it is out there, what the government would have done is to take the boy in and create a special program around him, so that in the next few years he will produce the power bags that the whole world will be using. Here we don't do that. the first question you'll be asking, is it from your place? Even if it's your tribal person, is it from your village? Why are you bothered about him? So we have created certain systemic problems that kept us where we are. So the West have understood this part of our lives, and what they keep doing is that the West keep bringing out those policies that will lure our people out of this place. Come to think of it, everyone wants a better life for himself or herself. So even if the government is saying, come back home, the first question the man will ask is, what is in it for me? If what is out here is not better than what is there, why would they want to come? So there is a challenge that those in government talk, but they don't walk the talk.
Okay.
Until we start walking the talk, the West will continue to take advantage by providing us with bogus opportunities. Some of them may be fake. I recently concluded a paper on international advertisement on job opportunities abroad and the lived experience of some Nigerians abroad. I interviewed about 25 persons, and part of the result is that sometimes the picture you get from this advertisement or the El Dorado that is promised is not what it really is. Okay. But essentially, social services is what the West has used as a basis to lure our people away. The roads are good, the healthcare system is good, the transport system is good, and all the rest. If we want to go into the labor issue, that will be a serious conversation. I believe with the course of this conversation, some of those questions will come.
Fantastic.
We'll address them.
Let me come to you, Eric. Talk to me about some of these stark realities for those seeking greener pastures, and then interface that with the call by Mr. President that Nigerians should return home. Because we know many people have sought for greener pastures abroad, they are living in the streets, they're not really doing well. It's not really, you know, El Dorado, so to speak, or greener out there for everybody. So how do you place that, you know, issue?
First of all, and apparently, looking at people not doing well, I think these things are relative. Relative in the sense that it all depends on your basis of assessing people for doing well and not doing well. People live in the country, obviously, they are living for life-changing opportunities, irrespective of what it is in the civilized world or in the Western world, or people going to US or America or wherever. The poorest person in the UK or in the US or wherever is better than the richest person in Nigeria, in all ramifications, to be honest. Is it the security issues that we're going to be looking at? Is it the religious problems that we're going to be looking at? Or is it the struggle for power in terms of the conflict theory that has been adopted by the Nigerian system, by way of saying that if you don't have money, if you don't have this, people acquire wealth for themselves and leave other people. You see a lot of inequalities in Nigeria, stuff like that. Here in the Western world, you know, people live in Nigeria is not just like they are living for, you know, it's something that it's something that is, you know, they need to do, but they see it as something that is a must. Because today, a lot of persons who are still in Nigeria, they are still in Nigeria simply because they do not have the resources and they do not have the qualification to leave that country. I think that's the more reason why they are still there. And looking at the outside world, you see a professor living in Nigeria, which is referred to as a brain in Nigeria, coming abroad is able to practice effectively, looking at the technological aspect, looking at the environment, looking at the working conditions and everything. And this is the same professor who was in Nigeria that is unable to perform adequately. And these are some of the best brains. And when they come abroad, they become robust in what they are doing. They become enhanced in what they are doing. If you talk about the security alone is even the heights of you living abroad. You know, your children, they are secure, they are safe and stuff like that. People can come to probably in the Western world, the first 1 year, 2 years, they are unsettled because you're moving from your country to another. That does not mean they are not doing well. They are absolutely doing well. There are a lot of facilities that you can benefit when you come to the civilized world. For instance, when you come to the civilized world, you have a lot of facilities such as insurances like the death insurances, income protection. For instance, you are unable to work simply because you are incapacitated, you are incapacitated and stuff like that. They'll continue to pay your income, you know. But these things are not in Nigeria. So in terms of asking people to come back home to Nigeria, first you have to address the systemic problem. You have to look at structural functionalism to say that the system is seen as a human being. And if the heart fails, and the kidneys fails, and the lungs fails, how do you expect the body to function? Obviously, the body won't function. And that is what is happening in Nigeria. The security system has failed, the government system has failed, the economy has failed. What is applied or adopted in Nigeria is the conflict theory, where there is struggle for power, there is struggle for resources and stuff like that. And those who have the power will be able to live in a society. But today it's a different story entirely, because the systemic problem is if you neglect an element in a system, the system will end up collapsing. Today, we see that even the so-called government, the big men in the country, they are running out of the country, not simply because they want probably many outside the country, because they want a better life. I think that is my perception, and I think that's my submission on, you know, on the Jagba syndrome as to people leaving the country.
Okay, I just want to ask you a point-blank question. So are you saying that the cause for Nigerians in diaspora to return home is misplaced? Is that what you're saying?
Obviously, it is misplaced in the sense that if you look at the system, like what I said, the structural functionalism, where the system should be viewed as whole, in the sense that every element in the system is important. Every element in the system is important. And if you neglect any element in the system will collapse over time. And that was what has been happening to the Nigeria economy, or to the Nigeria state. Now, if, for instance, the people that are living, they are well looked after, like the doctors, the nurses, the engineers, and stuff like that. And I understand that currently they are trying to impose a law to say that nurses can no longer leave the country after graduation. You can only leave the country after 2 years. To me, that is holding people hostage, because you have not put things in place that will encourage people to stay back. Retention is something that we should be looking at. We should look at those things that will encourage people to say that, yes, this is my country. I need to go back. I need to stay back in this country. In the end, you see people earning 100,000, 150,000. What does it translate to in the current economy? And what does it translate to in the Nigeria system? And you see that such a nurse or a doctor go outside the country and can earn that in just one night. So there are a lot of motivations, and the Western world, they have seen all this, and that is the more reason why they have designed a certain ways of moving those brighter brains out of certain countries. Like, for instance, you have the global talent visa, then you have the skill worker visas. You know, these are ways to say that, yes, we need you. If your country do not recognize you or do not appreciate who you are, come here, we need you. And even when they go to the Western world, they are still unable to practice effectively, because they are, you know, they are unable to adjust to the situation. But over time, they adjust to the situation in terms of technology, in terms of communication, in terms of the government system and stuff like that. You see that the Nigeria system has failed. So it is not the time to say that you need to come back. But first of all, you need to address some of the issues in Nigeria before you can boldly say that you need to come back. Come back to where?
Okay. All right. Thank you, Eric. I'll come back to you in a moment. Dr. Dam, because you talked about, briefly, about the labor issues surrounding this Jagba syndrome. Now, Nigerians back home would do certain kind of jobs, but when they go abroad, they do these jobs. They do them gladly, they do it with excitement, they do it with commitment, dedication, and passion. Now, if you take Benin City, for example, and I'm sure this is reflective of other parts of the country, you're looking for people that will do some of these menial jobs and all of that. You won't find the indigenous people. You're finding a lot of people from the north who are available to do this job. So give me your take along those lines.
Yes, I want to react to what Mr. Eric has said. Yes, because the social system is not good. The same persons here who have poor attitude to work, when they travel abroad, they work their acts out because they need to earn their pay. Civil servants in Nigeria, some don't come to work. Can they do that abroad? People come late to work and they are not punished. If they are to be punished, they call the chiefs and the big people they have within the system to come and rescue them. Can they do that abroad? Two, many of them are doing care jobs. Can they do that back home here? I know the argument will be that what you are paid over there is far more than what you do here. It's an attitude thing. We cannot change this country if we don't put in the right attitude. Commitment to work, irrespective you find yourself, should be an attitude, not about location. So the challenge with the Nigeria system, even for many who traveled, is that if they come back to this system, they do the worst things. And when it comes to job, those who manage this economy created this problem in the first place. If in the 70s, Nigeria could borrow money to the World Bank and other Bretton Woods institutions, and today every day we go cap in hand begging, borrow us money, it is because of the failed leadership in this country. In the past, those who lived up to 86 before the economy started having issues, life in Nigeria was good. You take, I recall one of my uncles that bought a small car, a Volkswagen, for, was it 2,000 naira?
2,500 naira.
And it was a big celebration.
Brand new?
Yes.
Okay.
Not
rubber.
Not to talk about my guy in the office who drove a brand new panel van to University of Ibadan as a student because the father used it as a reward for him. This was a time the system worked. Even the little you were earning was enough to take you home. Those who created this current system benefited from free education, free opportunities, but because they failed in planning, it now created a scenario where even the little that is available is not enough for everybody. That is what has created this. So the little that is available, one or two persons want to take it. So if they are to share, it will not go around. So they have become superhuman beings, so pretending over others. And when you complain, they tell you don't complain against the system. So by and large, it is true that people travel abroad. If you convert the exchange rate, it's far better here. But beyond that, in terms of freedom, work ethics, here and over there are not the same thing. He should be bold enough to tell us, those who work in care offices, the type of horrible experience they go through when they work morning till night, they don't sleep, there are other constant monitoring. Here this is not the same. Or even doctors who work 24 hours. I followed the story where doctors who traveled abroad started complaining that the way they were running ship, they were at a disadvantage. These issues are also there because they are people of color. They don't do that to their people. So beyond the money, there are other systemic issues with them in terms of discrimination and all the rest, which he may not make reference to. The general situation here is because insecurity has become a bigger issue. The economy is in a dark strait. What people earn cannot take them home. It's creating a bigger problem for us. But there are so many Nigerians who have seen this country that it has potential. They have hope. You recall that countries like China, in driving their development, I'm coming back to the issue the president raised with the diaspora woman. In China, the first set of people that were sent to the Yale universities of this world, IMT of this world, the Chinese government signed an agreement with them. We will send you to schools in these areas, but when you finish, you don't stay there. You come back home. And that is how they started developing their technological base, and China is what it is today. So, in a way, if the president said those who are abroad should come back home, the ideas you have acquired, the knowledge you have acquired, the way this system work over there, If you can come back and replicate it, it will make our society work. The big hospitals you have in Lagos today, I will not mention it because of advertisement restrictions. All these big time hospitals you see in Lagos, they were Nigerians who stayed abroad, who worked in the health sector, and they have got it to a stage where they start asking themselves, what else am I looking for? I think I need to give back to my community or my country. Okay. That is why many of them have invested in the big hospitals in Abuja, Lagos. They were Nigerians who worked abroad, made money, and they feel it's time to come back home and help improve the process. I think it's from that context the president is asking people to come back home.
All right, let's get back to you, Eric. You are an immigration consultant. For a fact, what used to be for migrants in the years gone by is not what it is today. A lot of laws are changing, policies are changing. I mean, these policies, sometimes they don't favor migrants. What do you make of this in relation to the cause for Nigerians in diaspora to come back home?
Thank you. First, I would like to respond back to the answers so far in terms of what I said about the Nigerians living abroad, the attitude of Nigeria working in Nigeria in terms to the attitude to work. First of all, you know, I've always emphasized on systemic issues in terms of the leadership problem that we have in Nigeria. Not that people come here and they do not have lazy attitude to work. They do. However, the structure that is put in place help to curb those attitudes. And these are some of the things that should be put in place in Nigeria to say that, yeah, this is what it is, this is what it is. And people coming back to Nigeria to say, okay, let me come and invest, like we talked about several hospitals in Abuja and stuff like that. You know, you have to look at the justice system if you have issues in terms of having issues with these medical legal issues and stuff like that. Do you have fair hearing and do you have just system? You know, those are some of the things that we should be talking about. There's no where in this world, no place is rosy if it's not heaven. You know, if you don't have structures in place, people will misbehave, obviously. But when you have structures in place, when you put things in place to say, let's put the square peg in the square hole, round square in the square holes, you know, that is when things begin to work. If people can leave Nigeria and start working, a doctor leave Nigeria and go to maybe the US and start working, that is a shame for the Nigeria country. Because if the Nigeria country was good, why would the doctor leave Nigeria and go to the US and start doing the healthcare and stuff like that? And if the doctor is comfortable doing the healthcare work in America or in UK or wherever, it shows that the doctor is happy. In the sense that he's saying that this place is even heaven. You know, there's a scripture that says that it is better to live in the wilderness than to live in the paradise with a contentious woman. You know, those are some of the things that we should look at, apparently. Because today, you see a lot of migrants. You see a lot of people migrating to other countries. A lot of people who are talking today, they have the intention to migrate simply because they do not have the resources. Some do not have the skills. Some do not know how to go about it. I'll tell you, as an immigration consultant, as an educational consultant, I've seen a lot of things. I've witnessed mass and exodus movements in Nigeria states today that, you know, people do not really have faith in the Nigeria country. Not that we're encouraging that people should move from Nigeria and go to other countries, but the fact that these are individual choices. It is not just like you need to force people to say this. People can do this. People can volunteer to do this based on the fact that they have the love for the Nigeria to say, okay, we can move the country forward by way of saying that we could do it online. We can come in person and we can do this. We can do that. We can have a database to say that, yes, these are experts. We can help structure the Nigeria educational system. We can help structure the healthcare system. I, as an individual, I have done that. I have been able to reach out to some persons to say, okay, I'm a nurse practitioner in the UK I practiced in Nigeria before coming to the UK, and have actually done this individually to say that, yes, this is not appropriate for the nursing profession, for the healthcare profession in Nigeria. This is what we need to do. This is what we need to do, and all that. But me returning back to Nigeria, I don't think that is possible, because that enabling environment has not been put in place. The structure has not been put in place. All we are seeing today is struggle for power to say that, yes, I must be the president in 2026. Okay, look at the UK, for instance. A prime minister just resigned, not because he was forced to resign. He resigned simply because this is what it is necessary for him. But in Nigeria, no, somebody is telling you that I must be the president for 2026. You have not even been voted in. You don't even have the whatever to say that, yes, I will win. Or you don't have the basis to say that this is what I've done, this is what I've done. These are the structural issues I have been able to solve. But you are saying that, yes, it is your turn. This is what you need to do. But in terms of that, you are putting power. You are saying that people must come back home, whereas you haven't done anything to attract people back home. Now, is it the UK that is saying that people should come? The UK or the US, they have put things in place that is attractive for people to go there and be able to work comfortably. I don't have burglary in my house. I can leave my doors open and stuff like that.
Okay.
The fact is, it is better to live in the wilderness than to live in paradise with a contentious woman. That's what the scripture says.
All right. All right, Eric, we're just on the verge of capping up this conversation, but let me take a final point from you on your key recommendation as far as this conversation is concerned.
Okay, what makes for a better society? We need to make our justice system work. If our justice system works, it's going to address a lot of issues. Number two, we have been talking about corruption. We may not be able to wipe up corruption, but we should reduce it to the barest minimum. What they do in the Southeast Asia, where if a leader you face a firing squad, and because of that, people in positions of authority are afraid of death. The third recommendation will be that, can you make the working conditions better for citizens? And the key to it is that you make the economy work. Let the roads be good. Okay. Let the transport system be good, so that people can have a sense of living. Okay. Tackle security. If you address these perennial issues, I don't think people will be in a hurry to leave this country at the age of 50. You go and be doing a care job in Europe or America.
All right, Eric, let me get a parting shot from you. What's your advice, for Nigerians who are on the verge of joining the train to Europe, America, UK, and what have you? What's your key advice for them?
Today, I think you don't really advise people anymore, because they are forced to go. Honestly, they are forced to go. The basic thing is that the things that are holding a lot of persons back is the skill and the finance. Some do not have the skills to really fit into this movement, and some might also have the skills, but they don't have the information. Some of them might also have the qualification, but they do not have the finances to do all that. However, my advice for anybody leaving the country to the Western world, based on issues in Nigeria, is to understand that you shouldn't forget home. You should understand that your home is your home. Those things that you feel you don't like back home, by the time you come to the UK or to the US or to Canada, and they should also understand that the first 1 year, first 2 years, first 3 years might not be very rosy. It might be, but I think giving back to the society where we're from, understanding the fact that we have problems, is also another thing that we should understand and be able to give back to our society.
I'll pause you there today, but it's been very, very worthwhile talking with you, for you to share some of these thoughts with us on this challenge of Japa syndrome. I'm sure some other time we'll be having you on this platform again to engage this issue on a different, from a different perspective. Thank you so much for joining us, Eric.
Thank you so much for having me on this program. It's a pleasure.
Okay, let's take you to Abuja Network Studio for the continuation of the program TMI. Please stay with us.
Benin Cultural Dance, a unique dance and quality dance steps of the Benin people. This dance is a vibrant mix of traditions, arts and beliefs, deeply rooted in the country's diverse ethnic groups and their rich history. The dance has artistic expressions depicting the people's history. Benin people have been famous for bronze and brass work, some of which is said to date back from the 13th century, especially ivory and wood carving. In Benin, the people dance to show respect, honor, dignity, which they honor. They dance to show royalty, as naids are seen in their numbers around their body depicting the symbol of kingship.
The threat of global
Yeah, it is still this morning on ITV. You know, whatever has a beginning surely has an end. At August 2025, INEC opened the portal for registration, for continuous voter registration. That lasted till December of 2025. And then another phase was opened in January, which lasted till April. And of course, the last phase now, which started in May, just ended yesterday. So many persons registered to the tune of over 9 million new registration. To do this, I have two gentlemen, one via the Zoom, and of course the other is seated very close to me in the studio, and is Wilfred Ifoga, the Deputy Director of Publicity, INEC. A very good morning to you.
Well, good morning, and thanks for having me.
How is the commission?
Well, fine, I would say.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And now to our guests on the Zoom line is Kenneth Bandi, is a former national. Very good morning to you.
Good morning, sir. Nice to be on your program again. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Okay, let me just start with you quickly. Just tell us your opinion concerning the closure of the CBR.
Let's all agree that the election is not only on the election day. Election starts from the day you go to the polling station to register, or the way you go to the INEC station to register. And so election actually starts on the registration day. And so, in my opinion, every eligible Nigerian that denies the opportunity to register is effectively denied the constitutional right to choose those who govern them. So I think that they should have every possibility, INEC should have every possibility to allow, continuous registration as much as possible, so that every Nigerian citizen that is eligible to vote is not denied the opportunity to vote. So I think INEC should really think about adjusting or extending the registration date time round to accommodate as much people as possible.
The issue is around the amended Electoral Act. Otherwise, this exercise should have lasted to the end of August. But as it stands now, they can't go beyond July.
Me, we have had this conversation about the election timetable, and of course we have the Supreme Court also decision on some parts of the electoral laws. That threw out most of the conditions set by the INEC for political parties. If you ask me, any adjustment, any little inconveniences, so to say, to accommodate, Nigerians, the opportunity to vote is what that adjustment. You should also understand that the registration for, it's very, very fundamental for a successful election. And most people have not been able to register, not because it's their fault. We have some Nigerians, who are displaced because of security issues. We have Nigerians who are registering for the first time. You have a long queue by INEC. Not that because it's probably INEC fault, probably the system is not working as fast as possible. And so you have a lot of myriad of problems that are confronting Nigerians. Not that they don't want to register or go and register, but because the system is not accommodating them to have an effective registration. Let us not forget that democracy is only as exclusive as the voters register. So if we do all this, spend these billions of naira, we'll spend all these, every opportunity and effort, and we'll have millions of first-time voters who cannot vote because the system cannot accommodate them. We'll have Nigerian citizens who are displaced because of insecurity that also need the opportunity to register. Then we must have also end up not doing anything. And so, yes, I understand that there is, this is the electoral laws, but
The threat of global warming is real. You have seen the destruction of lives and property as a result of incessant flooding. Make the environment a conducive place for all to live in. Stop polluting the environment. Protect the environment today. This message is brought to you courtesy Independent Television and Radio.
Some days, there comes the Ugemobo Festival, which the Oba celebrates outside the palace gate. A pavilion is built of red cloth where rites are performed to drive away all evil spirits still unsatisfied by the year's sacrifices. The Ugemobo Festival is to commemorate an event in Benin history which dates back to 1504 AD.
All right. Initially, because there was this provision in the law that says that for you to be a registered voter, you must present yourself before the registration officer. So in order not to violate that aspect of the law, so the commission kept studying it. So with the coming of our current chairman, he's a legal person, so they look at that. So now I'm also with the power already given to the commission to also explore technology. So the virtual space or the cyberspace itself, if you transact anything there, giving authority, it's as good as being there physically as well, because authority has been given. So the answer will fine too. So let us now, explore these aspects in order to expand the scope with which we carry out our process. So that was why it was done, so which was quite good.
Okay, there are many phases that we are going to see before the election. The data compilation, data cleaning, display of registered voter, of course, claims and objectives, like you mentioned.
Yes.
All of these, I know that they all have dates.
Yes, exactly.
Where each must be concluded before the next one.
Yes.
So when are we expecting the data compilation?
All right. We just rather stopped registration, which was just yesterday here. So after now, a PDF format of the register is being generated. This is what we need some number of days to get that done. Remember, this thing goes across the nation, the different states. So it is now prepared, and thereafter it is printed. So the printing, during the printing, these same registers that have been printed, which we will call the register of voters now, it will now go around designated centers nationwide, at least in every registration area, which people refer to as the ward. These registers will now be displayed. It has a minimum of 7 days at least for it to be displayed for individuals and other stakeholders to verify what we have there. It is after that process, if there are issues coming up, whether it's a claim or an objection, there's a form and there's a procedure for it to raise those complaints. And when that is done, this is now collated, and there's a number of what we call our review officers who will now go through these complaints, and where trying to be genuine, these are also taken forward in order to address those issues. When it is now addressed, that is when the commission will now formally to start to integrate the information gathered into the system, and thereafter technology also is also used to now do what we call the automated biometric identification system. So that's in order to check if there are information there, maybe there are multiple registration, or those who are not supposed to be there. Those who were previously registered, who still went back to do another registration. Okay, so this is the time the commission will now go through and take off all those anomalies. Exactly. Most people will find out that they registered. Are you getting it? But at the end, they will find out that their cards will not even come at this time around, because we already found out that there's a match in the information we have about you. And that was why we continue to sing, we are raising up this issue. Please, if you have anything to do with the register between 2011 and now, especially if it's an error done, go for correction. If you update your data, and if your card is missing or defaced, apply for a new one. There was no point going back to register, because since 2011 till now, we have been updating and trying to beef up what we have there. And you remember, that because somehow we found out that we have, before now, we have about 90-something million registered voters. 92 million. Now, we look at those figures to see, might not be real, kind of, because of, it's been added, no one is being removed. In short, people have died since. People actually, their registrations were not really okay. There were issues with their registration, and those who even did multiple then. Because from 2011, I would say the issues we are really having were registration done in 2011, because a lot of, how will I put it now, bypass or were given, especially when their biometrics were not properly captured. And that's why I find most of them still have issues when it comes to election. By the time the BPAS might not be able to match their fingerprints with what is stored in the system, And in some cases, some of them, their photographs too were not clear enough. Some were blurred. So and you know the BVAS uses both, either uses the facial or the fingerprints. That was why we intended doing a revalidation the other time, but then people misinterpreted reasons for doing that, and we have to suspend it till after the election before coming up with it. That we actually, once we're able to do that, it will give us a true figure of what our voting strength is like and voting status of all registered voters.
Okay, so let's get back to the Zoom line. Kenneth, if you are still with us.
Yes, I'm there.
Okay, I'm sure you've heard clearly from what the official of INEC said concerning the fact that, well, there are days between achieving each of the phase, prior to the election. So, which means that as it stands, there may not need for extension. So, where do you stand as a political party?
Well, I appreciate his explanation, and I appreciate the fact that due process is required. But what I do not understand mostly in Nigeria is that why should the masses bear the last born? I mean, like he said, yes, I agree. Technology is involved, but the INEC had about four good years after the election. Like I said, the election day starts with the day you go to register as a new voter, as a new person to vote for the election. So they have the 4-year time to to basically, like you asked the question, publish the names we have. Let people look at if their names are missing, if there are double publications and the rest of them, so they can address it on time. Like I said, it's not fair when you blame the electorate in the last minute. We have areas where they have long queues. Sorry. Where the equipment are failing from INEC. We have an area where we have a late commencement of that. And then, of course, we have the security challenges. And of course, you realize that not everybody is, digitally literate in Nigeria. And like you rightly said, Mr. Moderator, that if eligible citizens are still unable to register through no fault of their own, extending the exercise strengthening democracy rather than weakening it. So democracy wins when more citizens participate, not fewer. And so anything that could take place to mitigate these factors is welcome. I still wonder why we'll still have the issues of having double registration, having to verify register and so on and so forth. We have a name today. Our banking system is one of the best in the world because you can with your name and with your banking ID, you can do a transaction, within seconds and the rest of them. We are still wondering why INEC is not using this opportunity to modernize most of those things. Yes, I appreciate the fact that there's a time bound, but also, of course, I hear also the representative of INEC saying about digitalization and digital processes to facilitate those things. In a super world of today, we do not need so many 1 year, 2, 3 years to remove duplicates from registers. We do not need 10 years to verify those registers. With the AI assistance and with the digitalization, these things could be done within weeks. And so I still think that when more people are registered, when election is more inclusive, we promote our democracy and not diminishing it. And so anything that we could do, I mean, I hear that after that, they're going to look at then, they're going to take about, open up probably areas for litigations and the rest of them. You are still going to go back to address this problem that we are thinking that we can solve it by extending, election. Don't forget that it's not about, APC, ADC, Labour, PDP, NDC. It's about Nigeria. It's about we as a collective, we as a people, being able to participate in electoral process. And that's exactly what we're asking for. Yes, I understand that, again, like there's a time bound to that. Few more intensive week, few more intensive awareness, a few more fine-tuning of using the AI and digitalization to make sure that more people are accommodated will be a value added to democracy and not a minus to that. So we still appeal to INEC. And like I said in the beginning, if it's possible for political parties through IPAC to really appeal to INEC, and in the worst situation, to challenge that to court. That Nigerians deserve the right to choose who represent them, and they don't have to disenfranchise through no fault of theirs. That's my appeal, and we will continue to appeal that as much as possible.
What I have observed, it appears in each cycle of election, especially the general election, there is always this demand for extension of registration. Why is it so?
Well, like I mentioned, there are so many. Awareness is one point. I had the representative of INEC saying that this thing has been continuous, which I totally agreed on. I do appreciate, I do agree that sometimes Nigerians also like this fire brigade approach. They wait until the last minute, to get involved in that. But like I said, part of the digitalization, part of the reform should be a process where election. I mean, I've been in Germany for about 30 years. You do not basically go to any official, any INEC or similar institutions to go and say that you're registering. As long as you are above 18, automatically a letter comes to you to the house to say you are above 18, you are eligible now to vote. This is your polling station. This is where you're supposed to go and vote, and the rest of them. So it's automated. So they don't need to.
Process. The digitization of our register actually began around 2002 when we started with the OMR reform. It has its own, but if actually Nigeria actually had a data bank or database of all Nigerians, just like we had that NIMSI is having already now, I'm not sure most of the measures we took in getting Nigeria registered would have taken them. That was
of course, the National Provision Commission also has.
Exactly. So, like what he's saying now, a time will come, all this information will be harmonized so that when it comes to the issue of voting, all we simply do, we just go to the body, saddle the responsibility of getting Nigerians registered. We just simply create them, know the one that concerns us, which is those 18 and above. They give us the register, and based on that, we do a kind of validation for those who will be able to vote. Then we just put our register all around. We don't need to start doing registration for anyone any longer. I know a time like that will come, but but then we are following the trend, using technology as available for us to do that. Just like he said, yes, Commission is working towards that, and we look forward to that. And for those who are unable to register, or another thing is, immediately after the general elections, there might be issues of litigations here and there, and somehow the register is also tendered in court and things. And so because of that, we cannot add, cannot remove. Hence, you see us not kicking off or flagging off the registration exercise until we are sure that all cases concerning disputes that has to do with the election have been done with before the Commission will give approval. Okay, let us start so that we can start with registration
our time
process.
is flying fast. Let me just take you one more on an issue that is already making the round, which is diaspora voting.
Okay.
What is the position of the Commission in 30 seconds?
All right. Not quite long, just before the new chairman came in, when Professor Mahmoud Yakubu was there, he had an engagement with some stakeholders where the issue came up. It's just the issue of the legal framework. Once that is done and the nitty-gritty about how it's done, fine. Once the law is there, the Commission will do it.
Thank you very much. And to Kenneth, let me get your concluding word on this discussion.
Voting, I agree with him. I think we both agree on that. Yeah, I can.
Yeah,
you can hear me.
In 30 seconds, let's hear from you the position of political parties on diaspora voting.
Nigerians deserve elections that are inclusive, credible, transparent, and peaceful. Voter registration is a first step to that journey. No eligible Nigerian should lose the right to vote simply because the opportunity to register was unavailable or inadequate. Democracy is strongest when every voice has the chance to be heard. Let us strengthen our democracy by expanding participation, not limiting it. A little bit extension will not kill us.
Thank you very much for your time with us on the program. Kenneth Bandi is the former National Deputy Chairman of the ADC, and with me in the studio is the Deputy Director Publicity of INEC, Wilfred Ifoga. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Right, we now move to Lagos Network Studio for continuation of the program TMI.
Hello, good morning and welcome to the continuation of This Morning on ITV Network Studio. I am Patricia Uwemu Gabriels. The Independent National Electoral Commission has insisted that the continuous voter registration exercise ends yesterday, Sunday, despite calls by some opposition political parties and civil society organizations for an extension over concerns that millions of citizens could be excluded from the 2027 general elections. Well, that brings us to the topic of today. We're going to be looking at voters' registration, INEC ends exercise while opposition demands extension. I have in the house with me Dr. Victor Ohai. Doctor, I am so grateful you're here with me today.
It's always a pleasure, and it's a new week, and to our viewers, want to say welcome to a new week, and today's program promises to throw more light on the issue of the elections as we move forward.
I must also ask, how was your trip?
It was good. It was great. It was refreshing.
I know. I know. I shouldn't with you. Well, anyway.
Take a break sometimes, yes. But it was a working visit, so to say.
But working and resting,
yes.
I want to do that kind of working visit. Yes. Anyway, welcome back, Doctor. We missed you in the house. And of course, we have our guest who's going to be discussing and looking at this with us this morning. He is Dr. Martin Morgan. Dr. Martin Morgan is International Public and Development Analyst. Doctor, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good morning.
I just have to study more, so I also can be referred to doctor when I get to you people's level.
You just some researches and some years, a little bit of years to put in. And of course, we are working and we're going to school.
No,
so, yes, I think that is, yes, you stop learning when you're dead.
I agree completely.
I think,
wow. Anyway, we heard what I just read out about the suspension of the voters registration, and we have opposition parties demanding for extension. INEC has concluded the voters registration exercise. How would you assess the overall?
The question here is that we need to put them in proper perspective to really understand who is the opposition. In quote. Do we really have a veritable opposition in Nigeria? Do we really have a voice that says that the dissenting voice is being counted into decision making? So if you take all those into proper context, strictly my views, you will now understand that yes, the oppositions we have are all mostly agitators, which are not very much organized per se. We were in this country when there was an opposition party. The role of opposition to play like a shadow government in certain circumstances when the electoral principles are well upheld or when democratic ideals are being taken care of in a particular country. Well, in Nigeria, for instance, we the oppositions, we just have a group of people who, on the daytime, the opposition, but they are nocturnal allies to some of these parties, to some of these people in power. Therefore, whatever they are saying for me, it's like we are trying to do something we call a grand style sympathetic buying of the people to believe that you are being stiffened. But in the proper sense, you are not being stiffened. You are just playing to the gang, to the rule, because you can see some opposition parties. Here, they say, fine, we declare that the person A should continue at the top, whereas you go at the other side. We had a core party who they say, fine, let the government or the president they go on, come down. So, in the opposition. Then going back to the umpire. Any election, whether it's very acceptable or not acceptable, it has to be the rule of the empire and the different empire. We keep on talking about June 12th because empire, then headed by Professor Nwosu, Humphrey Nwosu, stood up on his ground and put some of these things into order. Then back to our contest. The opposition parties in Nigeria have disintegrated their without the proper visions, proper definitions for their role. Is making some of this agitation based on distrust. Distrust in the sense that they don't even believe in the system. They don't even believe in their own parties that oppose it. They will
ITV, certainly the best.
The land of Onwa is inhabited by the people with common ancestry, language, religion, economic and socio-political ties. However, irrespective of their subtitle differences in language and culture, they share common traditions. The people are known for their hospitality. Onwa traced their origin to Benin Kingdom as a result for a man to find a comfortable place for living. The name Onwa was derived from the largest and longest river in the area, which is known as Onwian or Onwa. It means one who makes merry in affluence.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program Healthy Living. What is the kidney?
The kidney is an excretory organ in the body, which is for metabolism.
Tuberculosis affects many organs in the body, but the common ones it usually affects is the lungs.
Epilepsy is a neurological problem.
Okay.
It is an injury in the brain, which causes someone to begin to convulse, to go into fits.
It is curable, but the cure is a long-term thing.
If you eat well and avoid those risk factors that will make your immunity to be down, then the risk of contracting tuberculosis will be reduced.
If you're healthy, then you're wealthy.
Some days, there comes the Ugemobo Festival, which the Oba celebrates outside the palace gate. A pavilion is built of red cloth where rites are performed to drive away all evil spirits still unsatisfied by the year's sacrifices. The Emobo Festival is to commemorate an event in Benin history which dates back to 1504 AD.
The man went out to bring in thugs to come and beat her.
Yeah.
In a situation like that, do you think women would have seen that and still want to speak?
Really, we're talking That's what I said. So when they bullied her,
Yeah.
if she's not bold enough, she will shut up.
What is your advice for girls out there that are so desperate to be married.
We women, we have to be really intentional about our parenting.
If you know a child is being abused, or you see signs, a bruise or a child, it has to be investigated.
People barely even breathe when they are going for a shrebi and something.
Party.
You have to be
They
smart.
can't sit
If
down.
you see where they are dressing them up or dragging on both sides, you cannot you cannot breathe. And these women will stay in those events for hours just to keep up with that beauty trend.
Is that healthy?
That's not healthy.
I am Patricia Uremu Gabriels, and we're reaching you live from our Lagos Network studio. Of course, Women in Conversation is a program designed for women to discuss about themselves.
Factor 97 million millions who are already on our own data distributed according to each state, each location, the local government.
Sorry to interrupt, but I think it can be added. Every citizen's right.
Yeah.
And so it might make significant difference. Who's probably voting for the first time?
Yeah.
Or who really truly
Votes,
votes,
yes.
and have a say, because it is your inalienable right as a citizen to vote once you're of age, I think that it can be argued that even for the sake of that one, and because I'm relying on that word, continuous voters.
At a period, you need to start to process an election.
I understand that. Do we need that much time?
We need time, because if you have been, my worry is that after this phase of the election, it took another 4 years. What have I been doing within that period? I would have been just maybe you fix a little thing, but you sit back and wait. Now every person is jam packing, and that is where it's from, and that is where it's being very manipulated to enable speculatively. Let's say we have added 2 million into what we had previously from this can increase the data from 93 to 95 million. But for the other young man or young lady who for the first time is willing to vote, to register, he or she is happy to register, but then has it been properly captured to uphold the ideas? Maybe I'm thinking of...
No, that's
but this is it. You have to simulate situations that we have on ground. Look at our ballot papers. It's some parties that are not even relevant.
The party that is registered
is fine.
So there's no...
Well, I mean, they are relevant. Political party have no council. So why do you think the system? It can be grouping.
Never had, but
it can be grouping. If you are able to map up your internal PR, you are good, fine. Because most political parties are not ideologically based.
Is anyone that
ideologically? Most. They are not ideologically based. The only ideology comes from the stomach, which one of my friends calls stomach is democracy for Africa. So this is where the problem lies. So if we just take it, we need to say, okay, let us just belong to the democracy.
Let me put a straight question to you, Doctor. Let me put a straight question to you. In all of this, are you saying it's not, okay, there's not supposed to be an extension? The opposition party has no right to seek for extension?
No.
Because a lot of Nigerians, they couldn't register. Always having a network problem. Even those that went to didn't find INEC officials.
That's what I said.
So
that's what I said. So now the question is that those sites at this second phase of crime, legally they can go on another. But what been as a what will going to be the outcome? Which are they been able to profile those areas geographically? Say this point is where we are going to concentrate.
So whose fault is this?
INEC? That's for the umpire. INEC. That's right. Umpire. A good election or a controversial election depends on the umpire. There are another thing is that most of our democracies in Africa, mostly in Africa, in that ideology, zero. It's not there. So what we do, we just follow the way it is. And we have very planning, but the implementations are not there because we are the people handling these processes. How school are they? We were in this country almost 17 times or 11 times that Beavers and technology. And at the end of the day, what did we see? We came up with a sobriquet called glitch, technical glitch. Now, if technical glitch became unfair test, okay, if I'm going to personally what caused this technical glitch, then we are getting to another cycle of election. We're not known for this technical glitch, and we are still back to the same issue, like you say, on even distribution of manpower. The technology did not get there, the locations are isolated, even the links are not working. So what do you say? There's something in French they say.
Are we saying, Doctor?
The more the things change, the more it remains the same.
The process is still going to be the same.
Yes, please arrest
yeah, so the more things, the more
the same.
Yes, but sorry, please.
No, it's okay.
There is this. There's another aspect to this. You talk about 93 million votes or 7 million votes.
3.4 million
votes and all that. There are a lot of people who have registered, who have said that they have gone to INEC, they cannot see their cards.
Yes.
And there have been cases where we've seen cards buried, thrown away, and all that. Can you speak to you? Because registering is one thing, getting the card is another.
I think recently there was where continued voter register were taken away by some group of people. One of these states recently they have conducted election. But the question there is just like what you said: is why have we not been able to fix this grievous experience? That's the question I'm asking. INEC is an institution. This institution it's not the chairman that will relay, but it's stop the dish stops at him to say that you do. And the another question is that are we people ready for this democracy the way it's being operated, or element of stiffness? The opposition is seeing that we are not allowed to operate and have our even the various political parties from A to Z, their internal democracy self, they rig their own primaries. And tell me, which party is not in cut? Voila.
I agree, but I'm just saying, I really want to address this because it's so that there are people who have registered, they have done it. They cannot get their
They cannot get their card.
Some of these cards are found in dustbins or destroyed. How can this address? Because that is also a major issue.
The only way we can fix this issue is that it's just like you want to do your ATM. Either they develop another thing at the moment they just take your biometrics and it prints for you and you take it away. That is one. Still boil that technology. It's not so. Two, the non-availability of register is not spirit. The humans, the people working in these various assignments, who are they and what are they? People should be held responsible, accountable. You are in charge of, let me use Cross River. You are in charge of Cross River with our AO government. For instance, we have like 2 million. It's your duty to go to each government and to ensure they get
represented.
Yes. So if you are not using this method, thereby you want to get your it's the same technology, but it's just the willingness. So how do you address it? Practically, that means we need to really understand that yes, Mr. A is competent enough to do that. If he's not competent, it's another when there are problems. Why is he working in other places and it's not working here? There are man-made problems are associated to either political affiliations, the what to think, and personal. That is what is not all of us. You don't have natural problem. All man-made.
Sorry. There are those who think that some parties dominating certain areas, the different parties control different and that they deliberately sometimes we've had cases of people buying voters card or collective they actually for people who have them already, and then some in collusion gently with INEC officials collecting on mass this voters card, and then those who can be in the opposition to them and then deliberately destroying or burying these cards. What does this say about
it tells us about how our democratic education is low and the civic responsibility. That deficit is there and who's to correct, because we have a lot of people in the system which become part of the electoral process. They are just there to do the negative to ensure that our guy gets there. What's your guy you are representing? So the squeeze and the hunger in some area. So on this, okay, let me sell it because I'm hungry. So we had a macro issue that also affect us. How do we perceive the concept of we really want to vote? How do we perceive the concept that these people who are coming by do to them? Where did they get the money from? There must be a source of money. Where did they get the money from? This is the question we should ask. So because it becomes too financially induced electoral process, where somebody can boastfully come on air and say, they gave me 15,000, 10,000, because I've been stiffened. So down to the how are they really
I want to what Dr. asked you, because actually in Nigeria in our think times we see that voters are bought. They're bought from Nigerians. So how does that work with if I buy your voter's card now, how do I use it? How does it work?
That's what I'm talking about. If I buy your voter's card, who is using it to vote?
So what happens to the voter's card that
they bought? So they now use the for this some printing nowadays they do or whatever. In this place I have mopped, just like going to you mop the shares. I have mopped these ones. This one can give us a figure. So that tells you. So that is why
use the voters to.
That is why. That's why.
Wow.
Why? That is why every person involved, every stakeholder, to be genuine. So what we are seeing, the last election, I think there was a man who came on air that they were buying 15,000 and the rest. People are hungry. And see that the people are trading their civil responsibility because of hunger on the micro level. The residual income is not there. Things are not working. Is it that they don't have trust in the system? Is it that they are disillusioned? These are some of these questions we need to really find out, which the National Orientation Agency or the Ministry of Nation, in tandem with some status who are non-teachers, should be able to come up. But the question there is that how do you insulate a non-politician some of this setting?
Okay, let me ask the implications of ending the registration at this stage. What implications do you think will come up in 2027?
There's nothing any viable implication we will have. Well, without vote that declared 2023 election. If you compute them together, how many do you have? Take from the number 1, the second person, the third person. Complete their vote. What did you have?
But you know, it's a single vote. They say single drops of water.
It makes a river.
So it is from those individual votes that we get the millions. You know, so
But already,
it's the same.
we were told that we have 3.47 million votes taken from the jobs 6.9 exercise that ended yesterday.
They already have the figures out.
Allegedly said, but they are going to come up. INEC is going to come in proper portal to tell us that this is what really we have. But presumably, if you are having like a proper 6.9, but let us assume that INEC is going to do a proper thing. The only thing, maybe we should have more confidence in INEC. But those who are not being able to do, but for the benefit of the doubt, we'll still come here and discuss probably by the grace of God. That's when we speak like a guardian by the grace of God. Because when Africans get problem, they put God equation into it, whether they are not pragmatic. We'll come and discuss, then you will now see what have been the for 2 weeks. Because what INEC is safeguarding is their timetable they brought in. They have already a timetable. So they want to rule and work internally according to their plans.
Okay, there are those who argue that all the data agencies should find a way. You have BVN, you have the INEX, you have other data collection agencies, including the Population Commission, driver's license, tax office, everything. And then the National Identity Management is a commission of council. NIMSI as a body, for instance, is supposed to warehouse the
everybody. Yes.
That means, I mean, I don't think NIMSI, there's nothing like underage, everybody. Then the Population Commission also, the birth and death registrations and all that. Do you say about harmonizing all of this and probably using this data in continuous registration, subtracting from there those who have died, and then just use your national ID card to vote?
That is what we are saying, the same thing. It's not so cumbersome to make it to fail. This data, like you said, all those agencies you mentioned, they all collect data, the same thing. Like you said, it's for you to put some guide at a particular age. When you clock, if you are less than 17, once you are getting 18, automatically the system pick up. But we register our deaths. That is another issue there. How do we register our death that this person is at the other side?
Well, the death certificate issue, that's a minus. But to what extent do they...
So no, what I'm saying is that that proposition is good. So that once we are getting to 18, pop up. Practically, everything maybe in second tier that. Those giving, not like the national ID card you are talking. So INEC, can they work like the session with this and scale? Let us use them to verify it. That yes, Matthew Morgan is really above 18. Matthew Morgan is above 18, not getting to 18 yet. So you can qualify him for this. So what INEC will have done, having this data, you have your words, you have your things. So you now say, okay, fine, these are the verifications we are doing. If you are in this place, verify those who are no longer existing. Because some barriers are not registered. So how do we update it? But it's better. And you subtract those who are not there. It's make it easier than what you are saying, but what is coming in to carry all of them. Then all these processes should be data driven in the sense to be easier for us. But because we keep on doing the manual thing, and we keep on having budget allocations for that. We keep on having manpower. We recruited 10 people, 100 people for this. At the end of the day, we know where it goes. So it becomes very cumbersome. It shouldn't have been so cumbersome. I agree there are some logistical problems. Some terrains are very difficult to access, maybe because of water. Some terrains are difficult to access because of insecurity. Some areas are difficult to access. Cannot have to go to that side, the mountainous area. I agree. We map up these special areas and do the parts of ourselves. China conducting the election. How are they doing? I live in Mumbai for 7 months under UN. So what are they doing that we cannot do? That's the question we should ask.
Technology, of course.
That's what I'm saying. We are not saying the same thing.
So had the INEC spokesperson came out to say that come 2027, Nigerians can vote from their house, the comfort of their house.
They told us that. Well, I think that would be a welcome development. In Karo Namoda, you can access your ATM, which you have registered in Lagos.
So I think that's what they have.
So if they have told us that, it's good to raise our hope. But at the end of the day, they shouldn't come and say, no, we couldn't do that. Because the issue that we have election, we close the whole day, we close everywhere. The economy, we deploy a lot of personnel on the field. They have to prepare to pay their per diem, they have to look about their shelter, their well-being. Some even die in the process.
The security.
So these are some of these challenges we need to bring down. Somebody will say talking is cheap, but I agree possibly is the way to go. Not that you just okay, take this, take out of 5, take 3 or 2 first. Let's see how it goes. These are intentional things.
I saw a video several years back, not less than 5-6 years ago, of electronic voting being tested. And it was not being tested on people English. It was tested with people who may say are illiterate. And the language that was used was Hausa language. I saw it. I saw the video. This was before AI became what it is now. So it's not about AI.
It's not
well
AI,
before. I don't know if any of you saw that video, but it was on.
Yeah.
You saw this, and because I could hear everything, so which was opportunity to electronic voting. You understand? And why has it become difficult to implement? Because if that works, even the issue of continuous voters register might not even be such a thing.
You don't need that's what I'm saying. It shouldn't be so
why do
difficult.
You think, is it about the politicians or is it? Because I think I said that they actually can. They have said so. Why do you think that this thing has not been implemented till now? Is it the politicians? Or is it that it is more convenient to have an analog way so rigging can go? What do you think?
When a very disorderly system is being beneficial to some group of people, they want it to be sustained. This is what we just have. Not that we don't know how to choose between black and white, but we just feel that, let me just stay there because the darker one will give me better options. Selfishness. I said it here. Greed is what is affecting the polity. The question is who is a politician? Is that a profession? Is that a be? Well, for me, I think it just those put in power in any agency, and them are even constrained. So the question is that spirit, how do we remove that spirit in public office to ensure that things work well? Just like the late Bola Ige said, there's a leprosy. You remember that Sidon looks in law. So how do we remove that spirit? You see, a vibrant person, all of us will be there. But once it gets there, it becomes cool. Cannot implement. Why? Why? Is it that the politicians, public office or government office makes you to believe that you don't believe? Or that those who are very religious, they say the devil has 3 missions. to kill,
steal and destroy.
So it's happening to the politicians.
Anyway, some citizens have missed this registers time. You know, they couldn't do their registration.
Many lamented.
A lot of Nigerians couldn't, not because they didn't attempt. Doctor, that's what I'm saying. I have come across a lot that tried to via online, via on-site. We saw the old woman who said they couldn't even find her name.
Even in Calabar, I think there was also where some young people went to the INEC office for Bushi and the rest, and they just saw some voters card there, but they couldn't get anything. So why is it so? Because okay, so we're not able to check. The accountability level has really taken. This is the way we do it. This status quo mentality that is not helping us. So pulling it out, like Professor Lumumba said, pulling it out is like to use a hammer to break a glass. We need to break it. This is why we have to do it. Because every person's duty, responsibility. You need to vote.
Okay, quickly, Doctor. What will you advise such citizens?
Well, keep on having faith.
But you just said something about when Africans they bring in God. You are bringing in that now. How long are we going to keep having faith?
It's euphemism that calms you down. It calms you down. Do you want to go the more pragmatic way? But for me, it's just that, honestly, there should be proper accountability. Those who are not doing it, name and shame, your time is up, go away. Then we can now see who are the bosses, who are the capones, who are the people holding these strings that cannot make things to work. In this disorderliness, there's a group of people with majority of where we are. So I think I know Doc, you know about Pio Lumumba, you know, I'm one of his even when I was in Nairobi, I know, I believe in some of those ideologies, but I know we can move beyond.
Okay, just the last one from
just to round off.
Yes. Talking about pragmatism, the parties are asking for extension. Assuming there's no extension, what would you advise the parties to do to make sure that even the card those that have registered are able to get their cards, and that's all the things that we complained about are no longer there? How should they go about it? If, assuming there's no extension, right, should citizens do, and the political parties?
The political parties just have to
and INEC too.
Yes, no, we cannot disassociate the political party from INEC. So the political party just have to tell their members, well, let's take the second shot and see and register, but they should be able to data the way it is to enable us move on. It's a long way. It's a long way to freedom. You need to climb the ladder and go. A long walk to freedom.
We hope INEC gets it right this time, because a lot of Nigerians are actually complaining. Yes. They want to vote. They want to be part of those that will choose their leaders come 2027. Thank you so much, Dr. Morgan, for coming.
Thank you. Anytime.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I want to say that if you have misplaced your voter's card, try and make sure that you get it as well, so that you can vote.
No, but Doctor, how do they get the misplaced voter's card?
Me?
Yes, you advise.
Well, go back to INEC, go back to INEC portal, or go back to INEC office and complain that they didn't have local government. So if you don't have, then you take it from there.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Morgan. I'm going to come back to, for us to continue as, the days unfold coming 2027. Which has actually drawn very close, and it's close by. To our viewers out there, we want to say thank you so much for joining us on the continuing ITV from our Lagos Network studio. We'll take you back to Benin, where the program continues. Thank you so much. I'm Patricia Uremu-Gabriel.
Good morning and welcome to the news update at this hour. I am Amarachuku Azuka. EOAC International Schools in Benin City has held its 8th graduation and prize-giving ceremony. Ive Oben reports that the event attracted parents, guests, and dignitaries, while outstanding graduating students received awards of excellence in recognition of their academic achievements. The report is represented by Ikponwonsa Ugiagbe.
The 8th graduation and prize-giving ceremony of EOAC International Schools commenced with the ushering of graduates. In her speech, the principal, Mrs. Edith Osadebame, appreciated the parents and dignitaries for gracing the event. The outgoing prefect, Cherish Eziako, in her valedictory speech, appreciated teachers for their guidance and support.
We are celebrating hard work and the results of the prize winners. Now, to our graduates, you started this journey with big dreams. You stayed, you grew, you persisted, and you maintained discipline.
The directors, Mr. Ernest Abegbe and Mrs. Gift Abegbe, said the school is one of a kind as every student is awarded based on their intelligence and excellence.
School is not about academic excellence alone. It's moral, spirituality, and academics.
We have more plans for better things, to innovations for the school. That parents, when they bring their children here, they will not return home the same. So there are so many advantages bringing your children here.
Students thrilled the gathering with scintillating presentations and performances, while parents and guests recommended the school as it imparts more on the lives of their students.
The school is really, really good. So it encourages parents to bring their students to school. In terms of academic level, I think they are number one. They are very good in teaching.
You can see the serenity of the place. You can see the structure of the place, coupled with the qualified teachers they have. In fact, it's wonderful.
The event concluded as certificates and award of excellence were presented to best students and graduates. Ikponwonsa Ugiagbe, ITV News.
Well, 25 years after leaving the classroom, members of the class of 2021 of Paragon Comprehensive College in Benin City, Edo State, returned to where lifelong friendships began, celebrating a silver jubilee reunion that blended nostalgia, achievement, and renewed commitment to their alma mater. The colorful gathering featured heartfelt reflections from alumni, inspiring messages from teachers, and an atmosphere of celebration marked by food, music, and entertainment. Ehis Ohunamure reports.
The Silver Jubilee reunion brought together classmates, teachers, and guests who relived memories while celebrating renewed friendships. The president of the Alumni Association, Goodness Kelly Obayagbon, described the reunion as more than a social gathering, saying it reflects the enduring bond among members and their commitment to fulfilling their corporate social responsibility through their alma mater.
It's about creating or recreating moments, like renewing what we started 25 years ago. So today we get to establish what the next 25 years is going to be like.
This reunion brings everybody, both far and near, together to celebrate ourselves and celebrate our teachers. And we appreciate God Almighty for everything, because those that started with us, they are not here with us. So it's good we celebrate ourselves now that we are alive.
Other alumni members shared inspiring stories of their journeys over the past 25 years, while teachers expressed pride in the achievements of their former students and encouraged them to preserve values acquired during school days.
25 years we left Paragon Comprehensive College to fix life. And today we are here to celebrate after 25 years, and we pray to celebrate 50 years of togetherness.
I'm happy today that this particular set, we have students that distinguished themselves academically. I can see some of the faces here who came out scholarship. I see some of them that had first class in Uniben, and I pray that God continue to empower them and keep them growing better.
The colorful event featured sumptuous meals, music, award presentation, cutting of the cake, dance, amongst others. From Benin, Ehis Onhunamuri, ITV News.
Inam Foundation School, Benin City, has marked its 30th anniversary 28th passing out and prize giving ceremony. The ceremonies were attended by guests and parents of graduating students, friends and well-wishers. Jonah Omorowa reports.
It was a day of joy for management and graduating students and pupils of Inam Foundation School, Benin City, as the institution marked its 30th anniversary and the 28th passing out and prize giving ceremonies. In their separate speeches, the chairperson, Board of Governors, Inam Foundation School, Patient Abe, the principal, Mr. Isaac Taye, and head teacher, Mrs. Esther Osarai, and other guests stressed that the institution has distinguished itself in academic pursuit, discipline, and leadership development.
To our graduating students, I congratulate you as you move into a new phase of life. May you remain worthy ambassadors of this institution.
They have consistently raised pupils and students who have gone on to become professionals, scholars, entrepreneurs, administrators, educators, innovators, and responsible contributors to societal and national development.
Some graduating students and pupils expressed gratitude to God and the school management for its high academic standard.
I want to appreciate mom for everything that she has done, because she has been the only one taking care of me since I was a child, and I want to say thank you to her.
I feel happy, excited, because it's not easy, a journey of 6 years.
I'm happy. I never expected this day will come so fast, and it feels like a dream, but all thanks be to God.
I feel so happy, very happy. I have to graduate two children, the one in primary and the one in secondary.
It's a marvel, it's God's doing.
The ceremony featured side attractions, presentation of certificates to graduating students and pupils, memorial awards to best overall students and pupils. Inam Foundation School was established in 1996 by late General Godwin Abe. From Benin, Jonah Omowa, ITV News.
Now, members of United Kingdom of Great Benin Empire on Sunday gathered at Holy Arouser Cathedral at Akpakpava in Benin City on Sunday for a special Thanksgiving service, which climaxed a 3-day program marking the 112th commemoration of the 1914 Benin Kingship. Mercy Osumbo reports that the Thanksgiving service was attended by palace chiefs, traditional title holders, religious leaders, and members of the Benin community. The report is presented by Ofure Aneto.
The Ohe of Holy Arouser Cathedral, Chief Igbinogodwa Edebi, urged the congregation to remain thankful to God, embrace peace, and uphold the values of love, unity, and humility. He also encouraged the people to persevere the rich cultural heritage of the Benin Kingdom. The chairman of the organizing committee, Priest Tahiru Ohade, thanked God for the success of the program and the knowledge gathered throughout the celebration.
We give God glory, the success of the program, and the knowledge we've gathered through the celebration. We also thank God for the blessings of our royal monarch.
The head of the media affairs, Ugbe Osaetiero, expressed gratitude to God for the knowledge acquired during the program, while also looking forward to the 113th edition. Prince Clement Uwaeweka, a grandson of Obaeweka II, urged the Benin people to go back to their roots.
All the descendants across the world that trace their roots to Benin Kingdom, the Benin Empire, that we stand as one, and we will never, and we will always continue to defend our kingship, defend the royal throne, and defend the Benin territory.
The message to the Benin people, we need to go back to our roots. Like I do tell people that no matter the level of civilization, you can never take the place of tradition and culture.
Prince Ambassador Austin Solomon Imagulaye Ugbe, Global Secretary General, appreciated the ancestors while appealing for unity among all descendants of the Benin Kingdom.
We are very accommodating, we are hospitable. We pray that God and ancestors begin to bring peace in this kingdom via our great Oba of Benin, Oba Ewari II, the Ogirigan, and the overlord of the people of Benin and in diaspora.
From Benin, Ofuri and Neto, ITV News.
As concerns over the apparent decline in moral values across Nigeria increases by seconds, some clergymen in Benin City say the church has critical responsibility in rebuilding the nation's ethical and spiritual foundation. In this report, Donald Ehimehin sampled the opinions of clergymen and women on the question, what is the role of the church in curbing the decline in moral values?
The increasing prevalence of internet fraud, corruption, drug abuse, courtesan, examination malpractice, domestic violence, sexual immorality, disrespect for parents and constituted authority, as well as the growing obsession with get-rich syndrome, has continued to fuel concerns over the state of moral values in Nigeria. Responding to the question on the role of the church in addressing the challenges, some clergymen and women in Benin City unanimously described the church as God's instrument for moral and spiritual transformation.
Some of them come from a family that is already decayed, where wealth, money is being celebrated more than every other thing. So long as you have money, you have it all.
The love of Christ will decline. People will be lovers of themselves. They will no longer have interest of God. People will be covetous, lovers of money, lovers of good things, than the lovers of God. Indiscipline, fornication, truth will be lost. And that is why Christ said, if I come, will I still meet faith?
What we are taught at home is what we carry to outside. And the first place of contact is home. Parents, let's create more time for our children and start to teach them more of what is called culture.
While affirming that the church will continue to preach righteousness and provide moral guidance, the clerics called for stronger collaboration among families, schools, government, and religious institutions to rebuild the nation's value system. From Benin, Donald Ehiminyen, ITV News.
Now, some clergymen in Benin City have encouraged Christians to continually give thanks to God for his countless blessings and mercy throughout the year. They made the call while speaking on the significance of media Thanksgiving celebrations in churches across the city. Jonah Omorowa has details.
Since the beginning of July this year, several churches in Benin City have been holding special media Thanksgiving services. The celebrations are usually marked by praise and worship sections, Thanksgiving songs, dancing, colorful display of traditional attire, and other activities aimed at making the services memorable. Speaking on the significance of the practice, some clergymen, Bishop Charles Okundigie, Prophet Alfred Heneden, and Apostle Dixon Agbonwaneten described media Thanksgiving as a special opportunity for believers to appreciate God for his faithfulness and protection during the first 6 months of the year. They added that it is also a time to seek renewed strength, divine guidance, and spiritual direction for the months ahead.
It is the nature of man to sleep, but it is grace to wake up. It is by his grace. So that is why we are here today, to celebrate God for all he has done for us. All glory to God.
Media Thanksgiving is part of Thanksgiving. When you look at it, from January to June, God has seen you through. So you thank God. As you thank God, you are indirectly telling him that the remaining months of the year, the remaining half, you will also see me through.
Number one, to acknowledge God for his faithfulness so far. Number two, to realign with God's purpose. Number three, to provoke God's blessings through seed sowing. So we just thank God for the enablement, for his goodness towards us. And we are believing God for more achievements in the remaining 6 months of the year.
The clergymen further stressed that media Thanksgiving serves as a reminder of God's preservation and encourage Christians to remain steadfast in faith. From Benin, Jonah Omowa, ITV News.
And that report brings us to the end of the news at this hour. Thank you for watching. I am Amara Chukwu Azuka. Good morning.
ITV, certainly the best.
Onwa is rich in culture and traditions. The people are a mixture of traditional worshippers, Muslims and Christians. Onwa is located at the northern part of Edo State. It consists of 2 local government areas, that is Onwa West and Onwa East. It has a total number of 13 clans and 21 political wards, according to National Population Commission 2006 census. The population of Onwa people is put together at 251,686. The people love tradition and culture. Historically, the people ancestors in deep quest to hand down on their future children a society of love and friendship.
Good morning. This is TMI Socials. I am Anuoluwakmo Stevens. Better still, call me a social media butterfly. Now, I'll quickly kickstart with our video of the day. Over the weekend, the entertainment industry was beautiful and buzzing with the celebration of the wedding ceremony of Soso and his wife, Princess Ebiri, that took place in Warri, Delta State, Nigeria. A lot of A-list celebrities attended the event, and take a look. Newly weather. Now, just when you've seen it all, same day, Saturday, in the thief of the night, hashtag Gay was trending. There you have it. The self-acclaimed financial relationship expert / coach and content creator, whose real name is Emmanuel Prosper Gege, has finally tied the knot with his lover. Well, he did a secret wedding in Niger State, Nigeria, and this has got social media still buzzing up until this moment as we speak, with a lot of persons actually dragging him as to why he would always put out content against marriage, against relationship, and you did a secret wedding without letting us know. Well, let's have a couple of videos that trended over the weekend regarding Gege and his wife.
Everything where they happen for this world, with everything where they happen for this world, any day when I cash me, say Gege marry, bro, na juju, that woman do juju on me, when I cash me, well, hold me, tie me go selection, me the floor craze come off my head. That juju that woman do on me, they need to clear that juju come off from my eye. Leave that girl behind and face front. Forget woman, face front. Leave woman alone, face front. You know the worst thing, if life spoil for you, that girl will rejoice why she leave you. That is true be that.
Marriage na scam. Whereby you are working and somebody's eating. Men should stop marriage because now it just the way women they use they lure men to wasting their.
Now this has got to be the most hilarious moment ever currently on social media. Imagine saying all of that and getting secretly married over the weekend. It's so funny. But he has finally posted a tweet as regards all of the questions and the answers that you need. If you could have that first tweet from Gege over the weekend, where he did say, "I never for once told you all not to get married. Did I? If yes, show me a video of me telling you not to marry." Now, away from that, people also reacting. If we could have other tweets to this story and get other reactions to this story real quickly. This one wrote, "But jokes apart, did people actually take his advice seriously? I am honestly asking because I did confused, as in I thought everyone knew it was content. Abi Nami no understand," and this person went on and on and on. Away from that, this user reacting wrote, let's get another tweet on the story. This one says, "Many men lost a valuable relationships because of Gege. I know one of them." Now this is totally hilarious. But away from that, we move away from that to something more really serious. Outside Nigeria. Now, President Donald Trump over the weekend joked that he will seek another term in the Oval Office as he attended the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Now, speaking at an event in Washington on Friday, well, Mr. Trump poked fun at his audience, a ballroom full of journalists, saying he would be running for president for the 4th time to try to get a 3rd term in the White House. Let's take a look at the viral clip.
Now I'm going to do it again. Thank you. I'm going to do it. Should be easy. I'm getting very good at running for president. Now I won 3 times, did very well the 2nd time, by the way. It's a rigged election, but we don't have to talk about it. You know, it's interesting when you come back and you do a good job like we did, you don't care about it so much, but we do have to tighten up these elections because they really are in serious.
Well, tweets on this. Let's have 2 tweets on the story and we'll move over to something even more interesting. This one wrote, "The world is coming to an end if this happens." Well, no way. Another user reacting says, oh well, this user wrote on X, if we could have, this one says, "Emilio Corn distributed by Nigeria, my country." Well, finally on TMI socials, hashtag Enugu Air trended over the weekend as the Chief Executive Officer of Enugu Air, Captain Tolu Ita, has clarified that the airline's recent runway excursion at Benin Airport was not a crash, but it was rather an emergency landing, where she confirmed that all of the passengers, the crew members on board, were safe. Let's take a look at the viral clip before we get over to reactions. Well, ITV was on ground at the scene, and we got on-ground reports as how the situation did play out at Benin Airport. Take a look at that viral clip that went on.
Missed the wrong way.
We thank God I started passing my bike for day. Now just God say, I just say I saw to just for up. I don't know say our plane no, na just for like this. So as you just say so, I thank God say everything no just happen like this. So now so we win it so.
Well, we just heard the boom for me, and this man just went viral all across social media. Let's get 2 tweets on the story if we can as we wrap up. This one says, "This eyewitness no sabi witness anything." Which one be? It just heard boom boom. Well, another user reacting to this story wrote on X still, this one says, over 300 people for airport, and not only this one ITVC interview. Oh my goodness. Anyway, shout out to the news department. This is how we wrap up TMI Socials. On this note, thank you so much for being part of the show. I am Anuoluwapo Stevens from all of us on This Morning on ITV. We'll see you again tomorrow. Stay safe.
This is ITV.
Certainly the best.
ITV. 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 Certainly the best.